Welcome back. Transforming Youth, and we're speaking to some young people that are doing their part to change the course of the country. Now, you're all doing your part to encourage change, but none of you see politics as an avenue to encourage that change. Does it say that our system is failing, that the government is failing?
Exactly.
Do you think none of the political parties that exist will offer an avenue? And you don't have to call the names, but do you think any of the political entities in its current form would appeal to someone that has the vision and ideal that you have espoused this morning?
Well, perhaps if they're watching this program, they should start planning now. Yes, but, just go back to what we're talking about. What we're trying to do in Trinidad is take young people and get them to be well-rounded. We were recently facilitated by the Classical Musical Development Foundation of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Annette Dockwell, to take some young people from Scarlet41 to see Dido and Enes, which is an opera by Henry Purcell. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's something very, to young people, it's like, what? But if they experience it, it changes their concept of life.
It does. I love all the plays in the opera, and Mrs. Dockwell, I think, is a good talent.
Yes.
But if you had to advise politicians as a young voter, Adam, what would you tell them? You are the person that they are going to try to get in the next election.
I think they need to reform themselves. They need to come up with a clear ideology. You need to come up with clear policies and principles and stick to it.
You talk about principles. What principles do you think they have or do not have?
Actually, I think they're lacking of a lot of principles. Simply listening to the general public. That's not something that they've been doing. Administration gone, present administration is the same old. So as we move from one to the next, is just the same old principles that they've been used again, and there's no change. They speak about change, but there's no change. There's often words of we're here to bring service to you all, but that's not the case. So what Scarlet41 is about bringing these youths together, letting them be able to be exposed to Trinidad and Tobago, to learn to appreciate what we have in this country. And we plan on going to Tobago as we move along, because we started in southwestern Trinidad, as Pierre said earlier. We started in Cedros, and our next trip is carded for the 25th of May to Siparia. Mm-hmm. And we're going to visit different areas. We plan on visiting Mondesi. We plan on meeting a TASA group there. We plan on taking these children to one of the steel pan areas in Siparia, to the Banwari site, exposing them to different history, to the culture of the people, to the close-knit communities, to that sort of things that they're not accustomed with. They're not accustomed, because on that trip to Cedros, they asked so much questions. They were awed by the different cultures and how people communicate.
The art of communication. Yeah. The more technology we have, the less human we become. Pez, you have the closing comments this morning. And from a youth perspective, do you think youth have a voice in this country? Are they really fostering change? Are you really, a young student in China changed the course of that country, and we all know the story. We all know the picture of Tiananmen Square and what that represented for that nation at that time.
Yeah, well, I think the more we can bring our interests together, right? Despite whatever the political affiliation, the opinion or whatever, if we can bring our interests together with a common cause to try to transform the lives of young people, right, we can really, truly make a difference. Because a lot of people shrug off young people and say, oh, this is just the same old that we've seen before, and it collapsed in about 5 months or whatever. This is not going to collapse. We're serious about it. Yep. We're bringing communities together. And some people who are, key persons in this whole thing is Mr. Clinton Jagannath from Cedros, McMahon Austin, Kieran Gonzalez, and several persons who are really assisting us in in changing the course of...
A lot of people think when it comes to youth, there's a huge class dichotomy, and there's a strata that connects one extreme to the other. How are you going to bridge that gap? 10 seconds.
How are we going to bridge that gap? We're going to bridge that gap by letting young people experience new things, opera, classics, communities.
Letting the
Culture.
youth experience connecting, reconnecting, rehumanizing the art of communication. I'm Hema Ramkissoon. We now have actually come to the end of this edition of the Early Morning Show. On behalf of everyone attached to the EMS, I wish you a safe and blessed day. I thank you all for inviting us into your homes and for continuing to give us a reason to come here every day, because you are the reason we do this every single day.